extremely small podcast episode if we were discussing what Starmer's done right. It'd be like, all right, Ash, all right, Nick, happy Christmas, goodbye. That'd be the end of the podcast.
Something he's done okay at. Honestly, I'm genuinely struggling. I can't think of anything that he's done okay.
Let's jump straight into this. It's almost the end of the year, so let's do some evaluation. What's your take on the three main leaders in the UK? What's your take on, let's start with Starmer, then we'll do Badenoch, and then we'll do Farage. How have they done? Better than expected, worse than expected? And is there any surprises coming down the line for them?
If we're starting with Starmer, I mean, a lot of it's self-explanatory, isn't it? We cover it a lot. I mean, it'd be easier to say the things that haven't gone right, wouldn't you? Because you'd be hard pressed to find anything that's actually gone right for the guy.
Well, it would be an extremely small podcast episode if we were discussing what Starmer's done right. It'd be like, all right, Ash, all right, Nick, happy Christmas, goodbye. That'd be the end of the podcast.
Exactly. I mean, I honestly cannot think of something off the top of my head that he's got right since he came into office. I know for a fact now as well, by the way, that not just his own backbenchers, but cabinet ministers are up in arms with him. They are furious with him about some of the U-turns that he's been doing recently with WASPy women and stuff. His approval ratings sit at minus 60 odd percent. The approval rating for the government is minus 70%. His cabinet ministers' approvals are also being dragged down with him. I mean, they do that themselves as well, but nevertheless, I know that your prediction was he won't last till Christmas. I was of a similar school of thought for a while. Personally, obviously, I mean, he's lasted, hasn't he? He'll probably go on till about May now, but he is on serious borrowed time. When his own cabinet ministers are briefing the media against him, who are bound by collective responsibility, you are in serious trouble.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a moment. So Keir Starmer has won the election. He's got a majority. He's inherited a terrible situation. It wasn't the perfect time to take over. We're almost bankrupt anyway. Labour always take over when there's a good economy so they can spend. They've not done it this time. So it would have been hard for anybody. Plus, our belief in politicians is rock bottom anyway. So no matter who took over, we'd hate them straight away. Is there any? I mean, I'm not being sarcastic now. This is a proper question. Is there anything he's done okay at? Is there anything you would think he did all right with that since he's become PM?
Something he's done okay at. Honestly, I'm genuinely struggling. I can't think of anything that he's done okay. I mean, the manifesto was a pack of lies. Everything he said to people was a pack of lies. Even those that voted for him and thought he might not be too bad, or he was a lesser of two evils, just want to punish the Tories, whatever. I don't know anybody. In fact, I do. I know one person who voted Labour that hasn't changed their minds. Pretty much everybody I know that voted Labour has changed their minds. They think, "Oh my God, what have we done?" And it's not just politics, Nick. It's Starmer. It's him. It's his lack of charisma, his lack of personality, his lack of sympathy, empathy. The fact that the guy, as we've said many, many times, is just an empty suit. There is no political intelligence there. There is no emotional intelligence there. The guy cannot read the room. I saw him get an interview by Harry Cole from The Sun the other day, and he said, "Did you think it'd be this tough in government?" He said, "Have you made any mistakes?" And he said, "Are you offended by the nicknames like Free Gear Kier, Two Tier Kier, and all that stuff?" And he just laughed and went, "Oh, I've been called worse in the past." This guy has zero grasp of reality. He doesn't. To say he doesn't read the room is an understatement. He really is emotionless, a robot. I called him the Dalek of Downing Street a while ago, and I stick by. That's exactly what he is. This guy is just a robot. He's just a robot.
I mean, he has inherited a bit of a mess, and he's not the most skilled person when it comes to personality and charisma and communication. And that's all a given, but that's not really his fault. We don't always need a showman to lead this country. We need someone who's competent, someone who puts us first, someone who starts improving things. I don't have to like my leader as long as they're taking us to a better place. And I think that's his big failing is I can't see where he's taking us. And the glimpses I'm getting, it looks like it's going to be hell.
Right, all right, I take your point there. Fair enough. It's not his fault that he's an empty suit. That's just the way he is. He's a very dull person. Fine. All right, I get that. The problem is then, if you're that boring and you're that bad, surround yourself with people who know how to do the job. You yourself said a while ago, build a grand coalition for Farage, build a coalition of people who know what they're talking about in certain areas. He's surrounded himself with yes men and women, mainly women. He's got people like Liz Kendall announcing the Waspy Women U-turn. Where was Starmer? He jetted off to Estonia. He's got people like Angela Rayner, another lapdog, who really can't stand him. Everyone knows they can't stand each other, but she's happy for some reason, maybe for the ministerial salary, to give out bad news on his behalf. These people are a load of whipping men and women who go out there and give out bad news for Starmer while he jets off around the world. I mean, there's one thing to be not a great leader, don't inspire people, but as you said, if the policies were right, then people might actually just think, yes, he's a boring git, but actually, I've got more money in my bank account. But that isn't the case. It's the complete opposite. And every time these women have to, or these men, whoever it may be, have to announce something in Parliament that pisses a lot of people off, Starmer is never there by their sides. They are scapegoat. They are one big cabinet of scapegoats for Starmer.
We all should know our weaknesses, and we should get help and support when we know we have certain weaknesses. He must know his weakness, his presentation. Therefore, you're right. He should have one or two cabinet members who are basically like Boris Johnson, who can control the room, who's people have an affinity with. Can like I mean, Boris Johnson turns out to be an idiot. I mean, I can't stand the man anymore, but he had personality. Keir Starmer should have realised he lacks there. He may be good at the detail. He may be an extremely intelligent man. I don't know, but he should have known he needed help there.